Hello everyone and welcome back to TWIG or This Week in Gaming. I'm your host Josh B with MER Gaming, and today we're covering all of the gaming news that happened this week, the week of December 11th. This week we got the end of a long-term gaming event E3, Twitch's new rule changes, and a new Pokemon DLC. After that we have the terrible release of the day before and ending off with some updates from Epic Games. Let's jump right into it. E3 has officially died this week. The gaming announcement event E3 has finally come to an end after 20 years due to kind of a multitude of reasons. The first main two are that the publishers were losing interest in running booths or just shows in general. We saw the start of this back in 2019 when PlayStation actually started pulling out of E3. Along with this, many studios were starting to complain that rent and running a booth at E3 just simply costed too much. It kind of makes sense a little bit that E3 is actually closing because of the new Game Awards and the Summer Games Fest that have just kind of slowly been taking its place. But it is still sad to see a staple gaming show die, but we understand why it happened. We got a surprise update from Twitch this week about their new community guidelines. They changed their policies to include artistic depictions of nudity this week for some reason. This change allowed much more nudity on the site and was met with a ton of backlash, as what it allowed and what it denied kind of seemed strange. The following day, on December 15th, they actually rolled back some of these new policy changes after the community concerns and backlashes. Now the rule is just for depictions of real or fictional nudity on Twitch. This restriction currently won't apply to M-rated games, however. It's weird that they suddenly changed this policy and then rolled it back just as quickly, and we're just kind of waiting to see what exactly all these guidelines will be going forward. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet had their second DLC launch this week, the Indigo Disc. This DLC takes place on a floating man-made island in the Unova region. This new area features tons of returning Pokemon, including all of the old starters along with some new ones. The new ones include Archaludon, Hydrapple, and new Paradox forms from Gouging Fire, Raging Bolt, Iron Crown, and Iron Boulder. So take a trip to Blueberry Academy and experience their Elite Four and what other secrets it's hiding. At the end of last week and the start of this week, we had the disastrous release of The Day Before. This post-disease survival MMO has built up a ton of hype that was let down fully. This game was released in such a terrible state that everyone is now calling it just a massive scam and are actually getting refunds for it on Steam. The developers of this game, Fantastic, have now shut down in less than a week from the game's launch. The positive side of this is that Steam is actually allowing full refunds for the game regardless of the amount of time played. We got a surprise reveal this week titled Mouse. This game has a very unique style theme set in the 1930s black and white cartoon. Think like 1930s Mickey Mouse, but as a violent first-person shooter. This is early footage of the game, but so far it looks pretty great and we can't wait to see more from this newer studio named Fumi Games. And lastly, this week we had some updates from Epic Games. First up, on Fortnite, it looks like Epic is making a custom controller for their festival mode. This mode was made by the Rock Band developers, so the controller will probably be very similar to the ones for that. Along with this, they made some players change their LEGO survival mode that has kind of upset some of the players. This update removed the almost required bug that allowed you to put damaged tools in a chest and break it to repair them. The reason people were doing this was because of the lack of repair bench, low durability of tools, and low amount of resources. After the backlash from fans, they have raised all tool durabilities by 30%. Hopefully this helps out some players, but this game mode really just needs a repair bench. And lastly, from Epic, they have won their lawsuit with Google. It was an antitrust trial that Epic won after 4 weeks in a California court. We still have no clue what this win for Epic and loss for Google means in the long run, but we'll definitely keep you updated if something comes up out of this verdict. And that will be it for This Week in Gaming. Please make sure to check out all of our other videos and subscribe for more content coming in the future of all things gaming. This has been Josh B from MER Gaming, and I will see you next week for another episode of This Week in Gaming.